How does one discover something? School? College? Stepping outside your house? Wrong, doofus. It's obviously through Google. However, there are a few exceptions, like how I discovered arcade games. That was through two things, a Namco plug-and-play and a precious gem on PS2 known as Midway Arcade Treasures. First of all, if you don't know about Midway games, oh boy, that's a topic for a whole nother video. Let's just say Midway was a name tied to so many arcade classics, as well as some of my favorite games as a kid, this collection being one of them. It consisted of 24 arcade games, and they were all laid out in such a memorable way. When the game boots up, you start off staring at this large pyramid. You then press start, and you're instantly transported through the pyramid into a treasure room. You're presented with a stone slab showcasing some hieroglyphics. A bicycle? A beer mug? A robot head? What could all this mean? It means you got access to some top tier games. We've got plenty to choose from here. Starting off with some well-known Midway classics such as Rampage, the game where you get to destroy skyscrapers and eat people as a giant monster. A King Kong Godzilla fan fantasy. Or Joust, where you have to take down knights while riding a flying ostrich. What about Spy Hunter, a game where you drive a fast car and shoot down enemies on the road. Gauntlet, a dungeon crawler where you fight against ghosts and other creatures with your friends. Well-known space classics like Defender, Sinistar, and Robotron 2084. On the disc, there's also some games that I would consider underrated gems, like this fun, hectic color match game called Clax, where you have to gather and stack screaming blocks. Or this one called Splat, where you have a deadly food fight against some random weirdo. There were also a few games from this collection that pissed me off as a kid. I think we can all agree on this one, Marble Madness. God, this game is a bitch. You've got a short amount of time to get a stupid marble to an endpoint by rolling it across some of the most thin, slippery surfaces you'll ever encounter in gaming. This game's name is very fitting. It's absolute madness, and it's only enjoyed by insane people, like me. Root Beer Tapper, or Tapper, was another one. I really have a love-hate relationship with this game. You play as this clumsy mustache man who goes back and forth between counters serving root beer to some of the most impatient customers. You progress by getting everyone out of the bar, which I don't blame him. If these customers don't get a drink, they slide his ass across the counter and out the door. Jeez, I wouldn't want his job. What makes this game a real challenge is that there's so much going on all at once. Customers respawn fast, you've got to collect mugs coming your way, and you've got to think about the number of mugs you send down each counter. I think the farthest I made it is stage 4, the sports bar. I can't imagine being one of those madmen that somehow made it to stage 10. I don't know. Maybe I just suck at this game. Anyways, let's get to some of my favorites from this collection. 720, Paperboy, Tubin, and Smash TV. 720 was one of the first extreme sports games, and man, it's a blast to play. It was an appropriate choice placing 720 at the top of the game selection, because I constantly come back to Midway Arcade Treasures just to get my fix of this. The premise is simple. You're a kid on a skateboard going around a place called Skate City. You can perform tricks for points and compete in different events to obtain medals. The challenge behind this game is that you're on a time clock and expected to move from event to event. If you don't move fast enough, it's skate or die. Each event requires a ticket, which you obtain through points. If you don't have a ticket, then you can't compete and you die by a swarm of bees. The game isn't generous with giving out tickets as it goes, so you've got to give a grade A performance. Luckily, you've got some skate shops across the city that will sell you equipment and help you out. I hated this game as a kid, but as an adult I love it. Flying off ramps and doing spins in the air is so much fun, and it's addicting trying to come up with the best plan for getting medals. I love the whole skate or die concept, with having to survive off tickets. No doubt this game was an excellent predecessor for future skateboarding games. Now we have Paperboy. This game also has a simple concept. Deliver papers to houses while avoiding all sorts of stuff. dogs, cars, fistfights, etc. While this game may seem easy in its premise, what makes it such a challenge is the same thing that makes Tapper difficult. There's a lot to control and look out for. You need to watch your speed, time your throws, avoid obstacles, keep your supply of papers up, maintain subscriptions. There's a lot to manage, and it takes skill, but it's so satisfying when you're successful and you're making it into mailboxes and gaining subscribers. Paperboy is just such an iconic game as well, especially when you look around an arcade and it's the one cabinet with bicycle bars. Tubin is a game where you play as these totally rad guys named Biff and Jet going down a river in inner tubes. Seems like a pretty normal thing, except it isn't. It's up to you and a friend to try to get through some of the craziest rivers imaginable. You have to dodge bears, snakes, hipsters, and so much more. This game is hilarious to play with a friend. You'll be bumping around, chucking cans like a crazy person, trying to fight over gates with points. And the obstacles in this game are so random. It's honestly a joy just to see what you're going to encounter. Smash TV. Now this game has to be one of the best co-op games of all time. Tubin could be considered as well, but damn, this one? You and a friend are contestants of a TV show where you have to shoot your way through rooms of enemies. As you go, you can pick up things like shotguns and grenade launchers, as well as cash and prizes along the way. Things in this game are intense. You'll find yourself dying often, but it's worth it. The concept of this game is so cool, you can't help but feel like a badass every time you play it, and it's a game that really encourages you to work with the other player. The odds are often stacked against you, and trying to clear certain rooms by yourself can truly be challenging. Okay, so aside from the games, what else does Midway Arcade Treasures offer? I always knew it had an awesome menu display, but as a kid, I never knew it had some bonus features. This disc includes some history on the games, artwork, trivia, and even some neat interviews that provide you with some insight from the developers. Above bonus features though, Arcade Treasures provides nostalgia. This game introduced me to so many arcade classics, and I don't know where I'd be without it. Having to learn about Paperboy through Wikipedia? Oh god no! I wasn't able to play these games in a real arcade when I was younger, cause all I had was a Peter Piper by my house. But I went to a real 80s style arcade for the first time as an adult not too long ago, and I already felt like an expert when I saw cabinets for Joust, Defender, 720, and Paperboy. I felt at home seeing these games, and it's all thanks to exploring the wonderful treasure trove that is Midway Arcade Treasures.